my business now is managing my team. So on Fridays when I come in, and then so say I come in as Friday the 13th. Ooh, Friday the 13th. Man,
That's right.
that's a good day. 13th is a lucky number. So I'm gonna come in on Friday, and we sit down in our meetings, and we go through all of our new leads for the week, and we assign them to folders. Then we come and look at our calendar. So say there's 3 red ones left on Monday, a red one left on Tuesday, 2 more left on this date. Usually it's not like that, but I'm just saying, say that happened. And I come in here and I'm like, Daniel, you have 2 leads that didn't get. I don't care if maybe they didn't answer or whatever, but I don't want to see them here. They got to be moved somewhere to where they're active. Because if I wasn't checking that and I'm not managing that and I'm not keeping up with that, this lead would become just like that old part of the calendar I was showing you, where it's been a year and that lead is still there because they didn't check it or follow up with it, and they were going by a notepad or they were going by, something else, I don't know how. Or if it was somebody that didn't work here. So now I can check the calendar and I'm like, okay, hey Daniel, you have these 2 leads, man, you need to get on that, make sure you catch them up, talk to them, figure out what you got to do with that. Sylvia, you have one on Wednesday that didn't get taken care of. What happened there? And then, if they're sick, that's, I understand that. I'm not a total ass. Just partly. but this gives you, like, if you're doing it yourself, you come in here and you know what you have to do every single day. It takes the guesswork out of it. It takes, like David, all those leads. Have you been calling on all those ones all the calls that we saw that you had to make? See, if you use this, you put it all in here, you'll know exactly where you're at with every lead because you'll have your tasks set up by days. So you come in here, once you get through all these, and say you got through all these real fast, or in a day and you still have some time left, you could jump over and take out a couple of these if you had to or whatever, if you wanted to, and move them along. But you know what you have to do every day. So you're not like sitting there, because in this business, you're self-employed. And self-employed is awesome because you work for yourself, and self-employed is hard because you work for yourself. You don't have anybody really sitting there going, hey Steve, you got to get out there and make these calls today, and you got to call 123 Main Street, call 456 Main Street, call Ansbury, call Oak Ford. You don't have anybody telling you that. So if you don't have anybody telling you that and you don't have a way to track it, you're sitting there running around like a chicken with your head cut off and you don't really know what to do. This is what's going to keep you from being non-productive. I promise, if you start tracking your leads and making sure you have a task on every lead that never falls behind, and don't set, like if you call, I had this issue with follow-ups. Like, okay, I told somebody one time, I was like, I don't remember who it was, but I was like, hey, did you follow up with that lead we talked about a while back? And they're like, oh yeah, I called them like 3 weeks ago. They never answered. And I was like, you called them 3 weeks ago and they didn't answer, then you set that task for the next day. Like if you call and they don't answer, you call, they don't answer, you text them. If you have an email, you email them too. Hey, I'm trying to get in touch with you about your property at 123 Main Street. Then you set that task for the next day. That task keeps moving until you get in touch with them. Because that's not like you made an offer or something. Now, like I emailed an offer, that one I'm going to give them some time to reach back to me. Most of the time before the week is up, or before the 2 or 3 days is up, whatever I set it for, they will get back in touch with you and say, you're crazy. You're never going to get my house for that price. Or, hey, I'll think about it, you know what I mean? Or I'm going to talk to someone, and then you can call and follow up even sooner if you have to. But you don't want to call, they don't answer, you text and email them or something, and then you set it for 30 days later. You want to try to get in touch with that person, because that, like I said, that's your fuel, that's your bloodline. You're not going to that's money. I figured something out. By the time they get into Freedomsoft, with the cost of everything that I have as far as all my overhead, it's like $50 a lead. So that includes the marketing cost, that includes the answering service, that includes my office manager, that includes the phones I supply for the office manager, it includes overhead as far as office space, stuff like that. It's $50. So that's 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450. That's a lot of money when you start adding that up. You do not want these leads going to waste. You do not want them never being followed up on. So you want to make sure that you keep up with every single one. And like I said, if you do that, it's going to automatically equal production in your business, because you have your leads, you have your follow-ups, you're taking action every day. When you start taking this action, you're going to be surprised at what you generate. But you have to really be taking the action too. You can't just go, man, I don't feel like doing this today. I'm just going to set it for tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and like, I'm going to set it for tomorrow. I'm going to set it for tomorrow. You know, like you have to really get in there and make these calls. Yeah.
Okay, so to be clear, what you're saying, I thought, oh man, I'm being a pest, but I'm like leaving messages to these people like every day or every couple of days. And what you're saying is like literally, you're contacting them until they contact you back and say, stop it, leave me alone, or they disconnect their phone.
Yeah. Or they
What you also want, what you want to do this maybe also is call different times for everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do that too, like set it for the evening.
If they're not answering at 10 o'clock in the morning, try it at 2 o'clock, try it 5 o'clock.
That's an excellent point.
And think of it this way, a lot of people are at work during the day.
Yeah.
The most productive time to be on the phone is between 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, if they're at work, and some people work in the day.
Right.
So yeah, mix up your calling times. You know, definitely mix up your calling times. Like, if you can call multiple times in the day. Like, say I call at 10 a.m. and they don't answer, it doesn't mean I can't call back at 3 or 5 or something like he says. Like, you can do that the same day and just see what kind of response you get. You know, but yeah, you just don't want to set it for. No, well, you got to remember, the people that are going to sell to us, they need us. They need us. They have a problem and they need our solution. Our solution is buying their house cash and closing on it fast.
Well, they
You know?
called for some reason.
Exactly.
They made them pick up the
Now,
phone.
if it's somebody who says you're bothering them or something like that, they weren't a motivated seller anyway, and they were probably not the people that were going to sell you their deal. So there's no, you don't need to feel bad about that. They called, you were just following up. You know, it's just, in this business, you're going to have to take rejection. I mean, I'm not really, I'm better now. But in the beginning, the reason I got the answering service was because I got that about a year after being in the business. But I remember when I first started the business, I left a seminar in Fort Worth, came back, started doing marketing, like sending out a few letters and calling people and getting calls back and stuff. And this lady called and she was like, yes, I'm looking for AC Ramos. And I'm like, oh, this is he. And I got my notepad out, ready to take my notes and everything. She's like, yeah. And she's like, I just wanted to tell you that you are the scum of the earth. You are a vulture who preys on little old ladies whose husbands died and left them houses. And I was like, oh man. You know, like tears started running down. I lived in a storage shed at this time, so I was actually, I got to go in the big house because it was dinner time. So I was there and I went in the living room and answered the phone call, and I sat on the couch and I was like, maybe this business isn't for me. And then the next day or like 2 days later, I got my first deal and ended up closing on it and made $14,000. I was like, you know what, I can take a little rejection. So I know it's tough, especially when you're first starting, like to hear these people call you names.
I did a lot of things up, so I have missed calls on
It's like playing golf.
and I'm calling
When
you
you
back.
make shots, then you make great shots.
Sometimes I get all the I just keep calling, even though they contact me.
Yes, I have my virtual assistant call like all the hangups that come into our answering service.
Yeah.
We get an email that says hang up and then it has a caller ID, so it gives us the number. So I have my virtual assistant call them back and say, hi, this is a Cityscape Investments, we buy houses. You called and we saw your number came up on our caller ID, but you didn't leave a message. Is there anything I can help you with? Are you trying to sell a property? And then, you know, when you kind of fit all that in and frame it like that, then if they really need your, because sometimes they just got scared and they heard somebody answer the phone and they're like, oh, you know what I mean? Or they think it's like, because my answering service answers like, thank you for calling Cityscape Investments, how can we help you? And then they get kind of nervous because they think it's a bigger business, you know, and want to hang up or something. So I have her call back, and we've gotten deals like that from getting, because all she does is gets their information, like says if they're interested, she gets all their information, and then she still puts it in Freedomsoft, like a regular lead, and then it gets passed on to somebody.
There's a phone back there, call, and they were calling you back. Does it still go to the answering service?
Say that again.
Like if they call already once, you took their information out of their Freedomsoft, and then you like think about the offer, they call it back, and then they call you back. Does it still go to the answering service?
No. Once it gets assigned to an acquisition person, they all have phones for them to use. So they have their own phone and they'll use it, and then they do all the negotiating like that. You know, so they have that acquisition person's number. That acquisition is their main contact for that.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but do you save all your leads by address or?
All the leads that come in are by address.
By address.
So if you look at all of our leads, so right now we have 2,889 leads right now. So they're all saved by colors and by address. So it's all saved by address. That's how it gets put in. But if you come on the properties page, so all the way down, you have the address, you have the seller's name, and then you have whoever was in charge of that deal.
So if you had to look one up, you just use that search box over there?
Yeah, I could look up the address. Yeah, literally, like say Daniel gets a call back from a lead that he was working on. You know, he called him, and it's a lead that he's been working on for 6 months. You know, and he follows up with them every 30 days or something, but they call back 15 days after the last call, and then and they're like, yeah, I'm calling. I have a property at 626 Little Fox. So he can go on there and type in 626 Little Fox, and it'll pull up that lead, and he can look at everything. So, and that makes it awesome too, because like like I said, whatever system you're using, whatever CRM, customer relationship management, relations management system you use, whether it's Podio or Freedomsoft, you want to be able to I want it digital, I want it online because I can access this from anywhere. I've been in Austin, I've been in Atlanta, and had I can look at everything my team is doing from wherever I'm at. I can be like, okay, hey, are their tasks all up to date? You know, I can make sure their tasks are all up to date, and then I can text them, hey, your task ain't done. You know what I mean? I can see what's going on. I can also go into their folders individually. So I can go into his folder right here, like Trajan's. I can check individually, okay, this one doesn't have a task, but these are the new ones these top 3 were the new ones that he hadn't done. This top one that does have a task is the one I just did for him. I'm fixing to call these 2 people in front of you if they're good leads. I'm gonna check them right now. But then everything I say, okay, hey, why didn't this one have a task? Oh, Corey, it's the same guy trying to sell 2 properties. Okay, I understand that. Hey, why is there not a lead right here? Why is there not a date right here? Okay, that one's dead. Why is there not one right here? That one's dead. So it means it already sold to somebody else. So I can literally go through and see, hey, why isn't there a task that's up to date on here? You know, so I can make sure, like I said, my job at where I'm at now is to manage all of my acquisition team. Like, I'm paying for all these leads, and I'm paying a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure we're getting everything out of every lead that's possible. Especially when I went back and saw some of the ones that fell through the cracks. You know what I mean? I'm like, no, that cannot happen. And especially where you're at right now, where you're just trying to get your business going and you're getting off the ground, you don't want to lose any dollars. You want to squeeze every drop of blood out of every dollar that you put into this business. And the best way to do that is managing and tracking your leads and follow-ups. You have to do follow-ups. And if you're not managing and tracking, you're missing on your follow-ups. Do you have the questions, Steve, or did you were saying something a second ago?
What?
Were you saying something a second ago? Oh, okay, I thought you had said it.
You have to take all status.
The status. Yes, when you open up the lead, when you're on the property details page, like I'm going to go to this next one here and just check it out. So let me check this one right here. So this is the lead that came in the other day. It says payments and taxes are not current. Ms. Broussard Station does not have her loan information available. Have it ready when the associate calls her back. Okay, interested in an offer. Cracked kitchen may be related to the foundation. Let me take a look at this property. So, oh wow, it's very green. Okay, I can barely see the house in there, but it's there. It's standing. I guess it's behind that bush. Okay, so I kind of get an idea of what the house looks like. I can look at the map. Okay, it backs up to the railroad tracks. So what I would do now is, and for Fabian was asking questions, is the status, like how does it change? You have to change it manually. So I really only use, like when it's new, it's just when it's come in, so that means they see that it's a new lead. As soon as they get a lead, they're gonna mark it as follow-up, or as soon as they go through it and do their first actions on it. It will always be a follow-up, or until it either sells to somebody else, or they say, don't, like if somehow it made it onto Freedomsoft and the person we call and they're like, I told y'all don't ever call me, or I'm never gonna sell, whatever, even then sometimes we just mark it for like 6 months, the most I've ever said is for like a year in advance, and that's when the person was just really mean. But like we did one where we're following up every 6 months, and the guy, like Daniel was working with this guy. Daniel was never pushy with him, never rude with him. He's just like, hey, I'm just checking up to see if you are interested in selling your property at 123 Main Street. I talked to you a while back. No, I'm still not interested in selling. I'm probably never going to sell this house. And he's just like, all right, I'm just checking up. You're on my files. I didn't mind calling and talking to you. I talked to you a while back. So no problem. You have a good day. Set it for 6 months. He did that, like, it started like over a year ago, I think. So last Monday was, the 6 months was up, and Daniel called to follow up, and the guy's son answered the phone. The guy was not interested in selling, but his son answered the phone. And the son said that the dad had died. So, yeah, it's sad. But the situation changed. You know what I mean? It's not like we didn't kill him. We're not in that kind of business. I really want that house. So it's not like we did anything bad. We're just following up. The situation changed. And about 6 months ago, we had another deal where the lady wasn't interested in selling. And then when we called on a long follow-up because we knew she wasn't super motivated, she was interested in selling then and wanted to hear an offer because she lived in a little neighborhood and there was one road out, and it was in Crosby. There was one main road out to the main road. So she had to go down that road. Her son had a car accident and died on that road. So she didn't want to drive back, and she was like, look, I just want to sell my house and I'm going to live with some family members in California. I don't want to be in Texas no more, and I really don't want to be in this house no more because he lived here with me, and now to leave to go to the grocery store, I got to pass where he died every day. She didn't want to be there no more. Her motivation changed. We're not being mean and calling, and we never know what's going to happen. It's not like we were like, man, when somebody dies, we're going to call. We're just calling and following up. We're just dealing with the situation as it occurs. But if we wouldn't have followed up, if we wouldn't have followed up in long distances, even on those people that said they weren't motivated, then the thing is you don't try to push them into a deal. You're trying to be aggressive and try to get a contract, but you don't want to be the ass that's like, you know what, you really should sell your house, and trying to convince them. If they don't want to sell, they don't want to sell. You're not going to convince them. But if you stay friendly with them, you can call them back in 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is. And then if the situation changes, then you might have an opportunity at that deal. Like I said, these are worth money. So you don't want to throw away any opportunity for that.
Casey.
Yeah.
Okay, I may have missed this, and I apologize. So all of your people have access to this, yes?
Freedomsoft?
Yeah.
Everybody on my team has access to this Freedomsoft, yes.
Okay, and then even they can go in and do what they can do with it to set their own, right? Or do you handle exactly what they're gonna do?
Oh, no, you mean as far as moving the tasks
Yeah,
around? They are in charge of the ones that are in their name. They move the tasks for that.
So they have access to manipulating all of this, based
Yeah.
on what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, everybody can do anything. There's a few restrictions, like they just can't change them, like company information and stuff like that. That's the only stuff that they can't change. But and if you have your Freedomsoft, I don't know, I bought Freedomsoft back when it was $3,000 and $200 a month. So I was like the 11th person who bought Freedomsoft when it came out, back when it first came out. So now it's like $197 a month, so, and they only give you like 3 or 4 people that you can add on and stuff. But I bought the big package back then, so they gave me unlimited people. So if I come to my people right here, these are all the people that are allowed on my Freedomsoft. Myself, my virtual assistant, Jim Kennedy, Noe, Amilda, Stephen, Sylvia, Trajan, Daniel, and then my aunt, who's a realtor. She handles my Spanish-speaking leads and any realtor stuff I have. So those are the people that I give permission here, and you can see that like I'm the owner manager, so I can do anything on it. Amilda is my manager, so she can change like the websites and stuff like that, and the documents and all that stuff, the templates and everything. But no one else can. It's just me and Amilda that can do all that. Yeah, so you can restrict to a limit of what they can do. Like, but pretty much they can do everything they want on here, on their leads. And that's why they got a folder over here, so everybody's got a folder and everybody's got a color. You can only have like there's only 8 colors or something, so you can only have 8 colors. I'm gray, Trey is teal, Sylvia's light green, Daniel's dark green, bless you, Noe's maroon, Steven is purple. So you can only have a couple, like up to 8 people like with a color. So but I have it worked out that way where they all have a color, they have a folder, and then like I said, when they come on the properties page every Friday, we go through, this is just all the good leads that came in this week. So we go over all the good leads, I go over it with them, because like I said, my job now is a manager. So making sure their numbers are right, they tell me what they offered or what they came up with or what they came up with to offer, and I'll be like, no, that's good, or that's, hey, did you look at this? I can just add my input. They pretty much know what they're doing now. But but my thing is, I want to see all the fresh leads that came in the week, and then as soon as, like on Friday, we started the bottom one. We're like, okay, we went over that one, we put a check mark, and we put the move to, and I would move it to Daniel's folder. But it's not Friday, so I'm not doing that. But that's what I would do. So eventually, this would be clear. There'll be nothing on this page, and then, like I said, we got to call our meeting ends. Like, if a call came in on Friday and they got input into the system, then it would be on there with Friday's date. We would check it next Friday.
But it's just captured somewhere else.
Yeah, it's just in the folders.
So once, know what to do with it.
Yeah, so once we go through it and there's a task set, and on Friday I make sure, hey, there's a task set, and it's and it's in the future. Like this one says yesterday, but he was supposed to call him late last night, so he's got to move that date. But as long as it's set for in the future, say it's set for next Wednesday, it's like, okay, it has a task on it, it has a name on it, it has a color on it, boom, we move it over to Daniel's folder, so now that's out of the way. And do the same thing for the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Move it to their folder, make sure it's assigned a color, and make sure it has a task on it. That is what I'm interested in.
What people don't want to pay?
The folks with this
We had a conversation today.
they entered that the very first.
Yes, they enter.
It's just don't want to request, give way of rejection. You think that when people say no, yeah.
Sensitive. I know. Sensitive.
Well, the way you do it is, yeah.
So they got a call. It's one of a very popular night.
So these are the leads that have come in today. These are the calls that have come in. So this is what my okay. So this person wanted to be removed, so that one wouldn't make it. Here's one though. There's a good one. So Michael Henry, his email address. How did you hear about us? A postcard. Obviously, it's his name, his phone number, his email address. Heard about us through a postcard, the address that he's trying to sell, and then I don't care if they leave the rest of the information, that's just the bonus. And then what's your reason for selling, interested in offer. So my virtual assistant gets this email, and my office manager gets this email. My office manager's job is just to make sure that that lead is put into Freedomsoft to make sure my virtual assistant doesn't miss it. So I have like safeties is what it is. No, the office manager assigns the person to it. Yeah, the office manager will assign the person to it. My office manager is my closing coordinator. Sylvia is my office manager, closing coordinator, and she does acquisitions just on my probate leads. So this would come in. This is what a lead looks like. It comes in. I get an email just because I like to. I never really look at them. You know, once in a while I do, but that's why I have Sylvia get the email too, and then also Jen, the new Jen. Well, I've had her for like 4 years now, but she gets it. So Jen puts it into Freedomsoft. In a couple days, Sylvia will check all the ones that came in. She actually checks them all, and then she makes sure that they got put in. And if one isn't put in, she'll be like, "Hey Jen, what happened to this?" And it doesn't happen very often, but it's good to have that safety because one time she missed one, and it was months ago since she's missed one. But you have that safety valve saying, "Oh, hey Jen, you missed one," and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and then fix it. You know what I mean? So, you know, sound just like her. You know, so it makes sure that everything gets in, and then Sylvia, once it's put into Freedomsoft, she assigns the name and the color, and then they work it from there. So they go on the properties thing, see whatever has, you know, like they just go to that page that we were talking about, this page, and like say I'm Daniel, I'm like, oh wow, I got a new one today. See, those 3 on top haven't been assigned to nobody yet, because they just 2 of them came in yesterday and 1 of them came in today. So by the end of today, I would bet by the end of the day, she'll have a color and a name on it, and it'll be, well, the next one's gonna be Daniel, and then the next one will be Trey. So they'll have, and then another Daniel. So Daniel will get 2 leads today, and then Trey will get the other one. So they'll know when they come in tomorrow or when they start working on their leads, okay, these are my fresh ones, I really need to jump on these right now. And then once everything is done on here, then they go check the calendar to see what they have to do for the day. So you see how it's a system, like you want to check your fresh stuff and then your follow-ups.
Those questions on email that you just had, are those the questions that the virtual assistant's asking on the very first phone call?
Yes, it's a script. Like I have a, I use Pat Live professional answer telephones, patlive.com.
Okay.
It's a live person who answers the phone, and they have hundreds of people. Like, it's the best one. It's kind of expensive. It's $100 a month and $1 a minute for the.
Local that I got with them.
Which
Westpark
one?
Communications, Caveat, Westpark Communications, she just trains specialized people that will give them all the script and they handle it and they're even better.
For real estate?
And everything.
I'm looking to try another one. It's just I tried a couple here, local ones here. I don't know if that was one of them. I don't think so. I don't remember the name though, really. There's one called Answer First, and Pat Live has just always had the best results for me. Like I'll call sometimes just to make sure they're getting answered, and like Pat Live is always answering.
She screens how people, they're educated, and they're not just answering people, they're educated like really. Yes.
Okay, well you can always try something like that. I mean, I've been with them for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave?
On your task, you know, like, when follow-up stuff, it sends out an email reminder, or they call this person. Can you set it up to do multiple emails? Or can it only send out one email?
So the task would send you multiple emails?
Well, 2 different emails.
Oh, to multiple people.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so, but like I said, they really don't even need, like if you log in and look at the calendar will tell you everything that's due that day anyway. So I just have that's why I set them all for 9 a.m. just so they'll get emails, but it's like most of the time they don't even look at them on the email because it's like 17 emails that say, you know, your task for today, your task for today, your task for today. I just kind of do it just to like, look at it. Like, you know what I mean? So that's really the only reason I do that, and I happen to do that is so it's like if they're checking their email, it's not out of mind. You know, it's not out of sight, it's not out of mind. So I just kind of do that for the effect. But really, if you come on here and you look at your calendar, you know exactly what you have to do that day. And then you just move your task around. Like, okay, I need to set this one to follow up again tomorrow. Or I need to call this one on Saturday because I'm going to go see this house on Saturday. Or whatever it is, you keep an active task ready to go. I mean, it should be a living thing. Any more questions about the calendar or setting it up like that? All right, I cannot stress enough how important that calendar is and making sure your tasks are up to date. I mean, you know, Calvin, like you're making a lot of calls. Like how are you tracking your calls? The same way as our Google Calendar? Yeah, Google Drive.
Got a spreadsheet.
Yeah, so you're using a digital something. If like I was dealing with somebody who was using a logbook, and I was like, man, you know, if you lose that logbook, or it gets wet, or you know, Lord forbid, it got stolen out of the car, like my stove got stolen out of my house last night. Out of my rehab, they stole my stove. Right here, this rehab.
Nice rehab, bro.
Yeah. But I live right behind there, so I'm gonna be waiting to see if they come back for the vent hood and the dishwasher. But I'm gonna leave the back door open so they're gonna pry it open again. Because they messed up my frame by prying the door open. But yeah,
Oh,
so
man.
but you know, when anything that's physical and out here, it could get lost, it could get stuck. You know, I mean, look at the person who lost the test iPhone years ago. They left it at a restaurant. You know, I mean, you could lose that book anywhere. It could get wet. It could, you know, your car gets stolen, it's gone. You know, anything like that. This, my computer crashes, I can log into this from another computer and still check it, and it's still alive. You know, I don't lose everything I've been like working on and everything I have invested in it. So good. So okay, so you check your fresh properties first, your fresh leads every day. Once your fresh leads are checked, you go check your calendar. And now I wanna do a couple of calls and see if maybe we can get a deal. Okay, so this person said they want 100,000, but they're willing to take 85. That comes from that right there is entered in from. I have a dual punch. Whenever we do the questionnaire, I always did it before, and I have it set on my questionnaire. So like, so what are you looking to get for the property? What are you looking? What are you selling this for? What are you looking to get? And they'll be like, oh well, you know, I'm looking to get 100. You know what? I'll use a real example of why I use this question. So we had one. The guy was like, I want 127. Well, I used to be like, well, you know, that's no matter what the price was, that's really high for what I do, because I want to pay cash and I want to come in here and repair the house, and that's going to be costly. I said, if I pay cash and I'm going to close really fast, what's the best you can do? So I have my virtual assistant say that, or the answering service say that for the questionnaire. Well, I had one guy who was like, yeah, I'm looking for 127. Well, if we pay cash and close fast, you know, pay your closing costs, what's the best you can do? He was like, well, if you're going to close, if you're going to pay my closing costs, you're going to close fast. I mean, I wouldn't go any lower than 77. And I was like, dude, I sent the acquisition person. The acquisition person looked at that other thing, was like, look at this. And I was like, this is when I was in my old office before this office. And I was like, man, go get that one. You know, and he called the guy, he couldn't leave WorkSource because he had an ankle monitor. He just got out of prison. He had the ankle monitor on his house. So that's on his ankle, and he was at WorkSource. And he's like, I got to be here all day. They tracked me. And I was like, dude, you go to WorkSource and you get that contract. So he went to WorkSource and got that contract, and we ended up selling it for like 95. We got it for 77 and sold it for 95. But that, we didn't even do any negotiating on it, except for, what are you looking for? And he was like, 127. Well, if we pay cash and close fast, what's the best you can do? 77. You know what I mean? So again, say I just got this lead. I'm Trey, I'm coming here, I'm like, okay, Irene Smith, there's her phone number, it's a single family, 3 bed, 1.5 bath, about 1,000 square feet. She's interested in hearing an offer. So I'm going to pull up the HCAT on this one. Typing, you go a lot faster than me because I suck. And then once you have these 3 set up, say I have like 6 properties I'm looking at today. I leave my HCAT open, I leave my tempo open, and then I just go through the properties on Freedomsoft. So I pull up the HCAT, and then I come over here, I just have to remove the section, I replace replace the subdivision, it still says sold, it still goes 6/114 back. That's all I have to change. Now search. Okay, so I'll look over here. This is that strip. I think this is that pink. Oh no, this is different. Okay, that's a nice house. You know, I don't know how, and then I'll set this up. Okay, so I'm gonna see the map. Okay, so it's West Gulf Bank and Airline. I have an idea. I know where that's at. I don't know. It's like okay, 45. Yeah, it's West Gulf Bank.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think I know exactly where that. There's like a big Texaco or old Texaco gas station right there. There's like a spa house right there. I kind of know that right now. My friend used to live there. Okay, so it's a good working class blue collar neighborhood. So I will check all, and I'll look at the map just to get an idea of which ones are the closest ones to mine. So there's West Gulf Bay. So the closest one is probably going to be this number 2 and number 3. Yeah, okay, this number 2 is going to be right there, because that's Meadowview. Okay, so close it. So this one looks a lot like, all right, this one's been fixed up a little bit. That's my stove, they're the ones that got my stove.
What type of down payment?
It's the same stove I just had.
Because I might.
Gas or electric? Mine was electric. I had the glass top one.
Oh, yeah, man, that's nice.
Yeah.
So Greg's is right around my
I
corner.
bet. Okay, so this is a decent looking house, it still needs some work and stuff. But this one sold for, enlisted for $95,000, sold in 5 days for $94,000. This one sold FHA though. So,
What's the difference between FHA and Christian?
FHA is just a government program, so sometimes it's a little easier to get into, or they help you with more like down payment assistance. But to me, a loan is a loan. I'm divided between cash sales and loan sales. So to me, that's conventional. That's somebody who just it sold somebody to retail, like somebody who wanted to live in the neighborhood. It wasn't an investor. But if I come up here and you see, so that one was number 2. So the next lowest one is this number 1. Let me check the map. Yeah, it's got, so West Gulf, like we're over here, it's over here. So that's not really close. Let me see where it looks like. Oh, this was a foreclosure. Yeah. See, disclosures, foreclosure, special addendum. So a foreclosure property in this neighborhood, this square footage. Ours was 1,086. This one's 1,328. This was a cash sale. So we done one cash sale, and that ends up being $55.35 a square foot. So what I would do is I'd get my calculator. 5.35 times 1086 equals. So for a cash sale for ours would equal out, if we go by the square footage, about $60,000. So that means that's what an investor paid for it. So if an investor paid $73 for this one at this price per square footage, ours would sell for $60,000. So right off the bat, I would know, okay, so I could probably sell mine for 60. So it means I need to get it below 60. So it means I would probably start around 40 or 45 to give myself some room to get bid up to like 50 or 45 or 50, so I can make 10 or 15 on it. You know, and if I thought I could sell it for 60 and they're like, I'm not taking any less than 55, I might play a little hardball and negotiate and be like, well, you know, look, I really would like to get it for less, you know, try the partner thing, you know, all kinds, whatever I can, try to get it lower. But I would still take it at 55 if I thought I could sell it for 60, because I'm not going to turn down $5,000, especially if I really think that's what I can get. So right now I came up with 60,000 on that, but let me go back here and see if I can find it. But there's not really a lot of properties there. So if you come back to Freedomsoft, I don't use this a lot, but I use it to verify numbers, the comparable sales on Freedomsoft. So I pull up the comparable sales, and there's a lot of activity there. Because Freedomsoft pulls up public records. So a lot of, and especially like in this neighborhood I know is like Hispanic. So in a lot of Hispanic neighborhoods, people sell owner finance. So they'll sell owner finance, or they just put it for sale by owner sign, and somebody comes along and they're like, I got $50,000 in my truck, you know, and they want to buy the house, you know. They'll do that a lot in these kind of neighborhoods. So I know that might be helpful in this neighborhood. So I come in here and say, okay, so our property is right there. Yeah, right there on the corner. This is that one. I think this is that same one, right? Yeah, and it pulls up some MLS. It doesn't always pull up MLS. But okay, so that one was a conventional. This one's a lot bigger. Oh, this is Marion. This is a total different neighborhood. Right there. Yeah, it goes off into another neighborhood. So there's not really a lot I'm gonna look at over here. Maybe this one, but it seems to be connected. This one's like 1056, sold for 61. Let's just take a look at it. This one was probably sold to an investor. You see the blue tarp? Roof damage is probably flooded. Look at the outside of this house is tore up. This probably needed to be rehabbed. So it's sold for 61. Again, that just kind of backs up my thought that I could sell mine for about 60 is what I came up with before. This was sold for 61, and it's right about the same square footage, and it looks very similar. So I know I need to get this below 60. We're working on another one in Ontario right now, too. Right by here. Yeah. Hi, is Irene in? My name is A.C. Ramos from Cityscape Investments. I believe you received a letter or a postcard from us if you called us probably about a week ago about your property on Meadowview. Oh no, I'm just calling you to see if you were interested in selling. Is that your personal residence? Okay. Well, no, we were just interested in buying in the neighborhood. Okay. Yeah. It was probably a postcard or a letter. Yeah, we're just looking for properties in that neighborhood. That's a particular neighborhood that we're. Yeah. Well, it depends. Yeah, no, it depends. Like, I know that there's one that's the same square footage of yours, you know, and it's right down the street, and I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what street it was on, but it sold for like 55. Yeah, the tax values go up a lot because, of course, that's what they're trying to tax you on. So they're going to make that as high as possible. Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm interested in that neighborhood. If you know anybody else that's selling, you know, I mean, they sell for like the what? Oh, okay. From a realtor, or is it just like a for sale by owner? Okay. Yeah, realtors a lot of the times they're always trying to get paid on commission, so they're always trying to get the most out of it, and they list it really high, and they'll list it really high and let it sit there for a long time because, you know, sometimes they're just trying to get as much out of it as they can. Yeah, and that's about what they're selling for, so that's probably why she sold it really fast. Yeah.